because traffic is light, those aren't causing any problems. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Mostly sunny and warm. We have a high of 65. Wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour, but that's okay because it's warm. Tonight, mostly clear, breezy and mild, down to 40 for the low. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a little bit cooler and breezy, high of only 44 in the early morning hours, upper 30s as the afternoon goes on. On Wednesday, partly cloudy, high of 47 by the lake, 53 inland. It's that time of the year, cooler by the lake, depending on the wind. Thursday, partly cloudy, high of 51 by the lake, 60 inland. And then Friday, listen to this, partly to mostly cloudy, breezy, and storms are likely at night, but during the day, we have a high of 63 by the lake on Friday and 70 inland. It is currently 63 degrees in Racine, 63 in Waukesha, in Milwaukee. Now up to 64. Just took a big bump up. I'm Jessica Ty, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:08.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristin, Brey, and Brian Noonan.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday. Brian, how did the time change treat you and yours?
I stayed up late on Saturday night. I made sure all the clocks were set before I went to bed. I didn't feel it till today.
You're feeling it today?
A little bit today on the drive-in. I was a little groggier than usual.
Yeah,
which is not good.
This was the first time having a toddler.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't know.
Because she was a baby last year when we sprung forward, and she just mostly slept most of the day anyways. And now it was, her nap lasted until like 6:30 last night, so that we had to wake her up out of her nap.
Was
and
she
then
up
try
real
to put her
early
back.
yesterday, too?
Kind of, yeah, not up early. Because it was like the time, she woke up when she normally does, so it was later in the day. And then same thing this morning, she slept until 8.
Okay.
But would have been 7 for her.
Yeah.
And so we'll see the adjustment period of that. But it's still just do you have strong feelings about daylight savings time and if we should not change, or if we were to stay on one, should it be standard time? Or
I don't. I've been listening to everybody scream and yell about it for the last couple days. I don't really have strong feelings one way or another. I think it's an outdated notion that we have to change for the farmers.
Apparently that's an urban legend.
Yeah, okay.
Or a rural legend, we should say, because that's not actually it wasn't actually a thing that the farmers were the ones that we do. Why we do it?
I do like it staying lighter later.
I like that too.
So I like that. It was weird this morning getting up and it being pitch black, and I'm like, oh, am I too early? Maybe I should go back to bed. I did not. But either way, it's a couple days annoyance twice a year. It's not that big a deal. How about you?
Don't the dogs go nuts for you guys? About time to eat and stuff?
No. Yesterday, well, wait. One got up at his regular time yesterday. The other just stayed in bed.
Okay.
He didn't. She didn't care. But today they were back to normal.
All right. So you're fine with the change twice a year.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect me all that much. To where it's because I don't have a little kid at home. I don't, the dogs are the dogs, whatever.
I think it's hardest on the kids.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen I know last week, Midday News had a specialist on to talk about how to prepare your kids for it. We did not follow that advice. We did not slowly inch up her bedtime 15 minutes throughout last week to prepare for this. It was just
that sounds like too much work.
Pulling the Band-Aid off, and now we'll pay the price this week.
At the risk of sounding like an old man, just suck it up for 2 days. You'll be back on schedule by Wednesday. Yeah. Everything's fine.
But then it was so funny because in Arizona and Hawaii, they passed a law back in 1966. They don't do it. So they just are on different, for a little while out of the year, just on a different time than what the time zone is, and they switch time zones. And I guess Hawaii is literally an island on its own, so who cares? But
Hawaii, everything. Once you get to Hawaii, it's on island time anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Arizona, I blame the heat that they can't work the clock and take their brains being baked out by that sun for that long. So it's easier for them just to forget about it and move on.
Didn't Trump say he was going to end daylight savings time? Wasn't that one of the promises?
If you listen to I wish I'd known you were going to ask this question. If you listen to the clip of him in the Oval Office, he could not have been more indecisive about this. well, and I don't do a Trump, but it was basically, well, a lot of people are for it, a lot of people are against it. It's kind of a 50-50. Some may be more for it than the others who are less against it, but it's one of those things that you have to look at, and it's about a 50-50, so it's not really that big a deal. He just talked.
So it was like 45 seconds of
nothing,
middling.
Of nothing. He just repeated that some people liked it and some people didn't, and some people didn't want their kids going to school in the dark. I'm like, how early are these kids going to school?
But that is the thing in the winter here. If we were to stay on daylight savings time and the buses at like 7 or 8 in the morning, there's certain times of the year that it would be dark.
Right. I don't know. If I was going to school in the dark, I'd just sleep first period. That would be fine.
Yeah, that's probably the problem.
Probably could be.
All right. Well, here's another thing that is popular for some and not popular for another. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Oh. He is on a tour right now. The Fight the Oligarchy tour. And he had not one, but 2 stops in Wisconsin over the weekend. So we're going to talk about the gravitational pull of Bernie Sanders and what it means and if it means anything politically for Democrats. So we'll talk about that after this.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profiled the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes. Ryan Lathrop, school bus driver, coming his way, a semi-truck in the other lane, and it's creeping over the center line.
Tried to get around him, see if I couldn't avoid him, and he ended up going right down the side of my bus. I don't feel that I'm a hero. I did just doing my job.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Brian Noonan here for Milwaukee Weight Loss. I'm so excited to talk to you about this because I'm starting week 8 of this weight loss journey, and I've already lost 41 pounds. I know, I can't believe it either, but I feel great. If you want to lose weight and be healthier, then this is the program for you. It's the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. It's doctor developed. It's a easy to follow weight loss program that gives you fast results naturally and safely. There's no drugs or injections. You don't have to buy prepackaged meals. You're eating your own food. There's no shakes, no exercising required if you don't want to. It resets your metabolism. Now, people say, well, how does that happen? I'm not the doctor, but you can talk to them. They are there for you every step of the way to help you keep the weight off for good. You get a coach for ongoing support. The program costs up to half as much and works twice as fast as most other programs. So if you want to get involved in this and you want to get these results, go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation. Many patients lose up to 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or 2. I am a good example of that. I can't believe it. I still have a ways to go, but it is very inspiring to watch your body lose up to a pound of fat a day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Namaste.
Dan, what are you doing?
Shh, you're harshing my mellow. Join me in some breathing exercises to chase away the chaos.
Let's focus on our clients since we offer an exceptional way to control the chaos.
Inspired Closets can more than double your closet storage space.
And we don't over-design projects, sending you 3 beautiful designs to fit your price point.
Plus, our true lifetime warranty makes it a no-brainer.
Get started today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets.
A wife and husband team.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey. Brian, were you ever a Bernie bro?
No, I was, I appreciate what Bernie does. I was never a Bernie bro. I had a friend who was so hardcore Bernie, it was insane. I ended up getting him a t-shirt or a sweatshirt because he's a young guy and he was, Bernie's going to deliver everything. And I knew that was never going to happen. But I do, Bernie's good for some sound bites. He was great for the mitten industry in Vermont. So the guy, I have nothing but respect for him.
Well, it is interesting because last week, I think, did we have it in spinning or when did we talk about the fact
we talked it in spinning.
Bernie Sanders, independent socialist, democratic socialist, senator from Vermont, was coming to not only Wisconsin, but to a bunch of swing, red-leaning congressional districts across the Rust Belt on his Fight the Oligarchy tour. And I had said, apparently stupidly,
who's going to come?
Not even, no, it's like, how big of a, does Bernie still draw a crowd? And
you got your answer, didn't you?
And apparently I got my answer. Here's a little bit of a soundbite from him at the UW Parkside in Kenosha over the weekend.
We are here to say loudly and clearly that in our great nation, we will not accept oligarchy.
Have we been saying it wrong all this time?
Apparently, yeah.
Everybody in the world is says it different than Bernie.
So here are some of the numbers. In Kenosha, around 3,500 people came to see him, and 500 were turned away.
Wow.
He was also in Altoona, Wisconsin, which is over by Eau Claire. Right. It was a rural area. The population is about 9,200 people. More than 2,000 people lined up to see him there. They actually, in one of the articles I read, his staffers thought it was actually going to be close. It was closer to 2,600 people. From there, he went to Warren, Michigan, where more than 9,000 people showed up. So just this weekend alone, in his stops between Wisconsin and Michigan, 15,000 people showed up. And it's not, he's not campaigning.
Nope.
This is not his district. And so this is about, in his words, taking on what was the entire British Empire and the most powerful force on earth, which are the richest people in the country. And this has been he's been a populist.
Yeah,
since the first time his rise to popularity.
The 1% of the 1%. He doesn't want them.
And so I'm wondering, like, what does this, putting this in context, in the other things that are happening, as far as over the weekend, President Trump admitted that there could be a recession as we wait, as some of his policies need to be enacted. There's been protests about VAs being fired. There's been protests about other federal workers being fired. Back and forth on tariffs. Governor Evers is now suing Trump over the reckless mass firing of federal workers. There's a lot of other things going on as far as people's unhappiness, and we haven't even know what is going to happen with the budget yet.
Right.
And so it's like, is this a sign of anything that is brewing? Is this just a sign of Bernie's popularity?
Well, it was called, some Republicans call it a fear-mongering campaign over the weekend.
Style, yes.
Yes, but this is not, it's not fear-mongering as much as it is, I think, significant in where he's having these rallies or these speeches. As you mentioned, red districts, purple to a point, but still predominantly conservative. This many people are coming out. And it is because I think people are starting to realize, oh, we voted for certain policies and the person who was going to enact these policies thinking it was going to happen somewhere else. And now it's happening in our homes. And this isn't what we bargained for. And it's hard not to look at corporations, people like Elon Musk getting richer and richer from a lot of these cuts, where it's not helping. And I'm not talking about just the poor. I'm talking about everybody who's not, in the wealthiest class is having trouble getting this done. So it is getting a message out there. I would hope that it is showing the Republican Party that people are unhappy. The message doesn't seem to be getting through, where Congress is still blindly backing everything that comes out of the administration. But I'm hoping that more of these, if they can get past the talking points and be really honest and look at not only their constituents, but the rest of the country, realize, no, there was no mandate. Half the people did not vote for what's happening now. And now the people that did are unhappy with it. It's time to start making a change.
Well, I think it's just interesting because I feel like one of the things you can define Trump's popularity by is populism, right? Is the promise of helping people in the middle and lower classes, but it's
forgotten.
Yeah, and I think, and that's what Bernie's always been talking about. And there's still hindsight is 2020 of people saying that they think Bernie would have beat Trump in a head-to-head election back in 2016. We'll never know.
Right.
But it's interesting to me as far as if what Bernie's always been talking about is resonating, and is there an opportunity for other politicians, and specifically the Democratic Party, to optimize that message as they try to regroup and pull on this thread more? If it's still, I mean, it's because it's like, is this a Bernie thing, or is this the policies that Bernie's talking about thing that has this kind of popularity?
Do you think the Democratic Party is solid enough to make these kind of changes? Because if you look just over the last week, right, they can't figure out what to do. You've got 10 voting to
Gavin Newsom going on Charlie Kirk's podcast.
Gavin Newsom doing that. You've got 10 voting to sanction the
Al
Green. You've got Fetterman coming out saying that the Democratic Party is pouting and they're glum and they don't, and Hakeem Jeffries not really doing anything. It's like, all right, what's going on? So maybe it does take somebody old school like Bernie to go out and show the quote-unquote leadership of the Democratic Party that this is your opportunity. People are unhappy. Not only your people, but people who voted for Donald Trump in November. They're unhappy now, too, so let's go.
And it's interesting as far as what could be potentially brewing organically, because last week when I got to interview Adam Kinzinger, he referenced back to, because he was part of the Tea Party wave. Mm-hmm. And when he first thought about running, so would have been, I think he said it was January 2010. So some of the town hall protests and stuff had been starting. And he got to D.C. and he kind of met with John Boehner and some of the more establishment Republicans at that point. And he said last week, he goes, my takeaway from meeting with all those people is that they were totally lost. Mm-hmm. They were totally defeated. And they didn't really know which direction to go after Obama had been elected. And yet this upswell happened organically through the Tea Party movement, and there was still something to hold on to. And obviously, Republicans had a huge wave that midterm in 2010. And so I don't know. I feel like those are big numbers,
right,
for something that is organic, because it's not like there's a huge, coalition of Wisdems trying to get people there or something like that. It's just Bernie coming to town. And so I think there might be something there when you talk about working class issues, that there could be something brewing.
Well, the numbers here in these three rallies or speeches, whatever you want to call them for Bernie, are impressive. You mentioned the veterans protesting, all these other government. There's protests happening all over. The question is going to be, how can they coalesce into one single movement like the Tea Party did to wield that kind of power? Because right now it's scattered. Mm-hmm. The Democrats need to sit down and figure out, okay, how do we get all these groups who are rightfully angry together? Mm-hmm. But what are the Republicans in Congress brave enough to look at all whether it's scattered or coalesced, are they brave enough to look at this and go, all right, we need to stand up and some of this has to stop some of this has to change?
Are they brave enough to have a town hall? Unknown. All right. We'll have more after this on Spanning the State.
Wisconsin winters are unpredictable.
This is history. Never had a tornado touchdown in February.
We keep you updated on blizzards.
Winter storm warning has been issued for all of southeast Wisconsin, and it's going to get really, really dicey.
Blackouts.
Tens of thousands of customers across southeast Wisconsin are without power this morning.
Icy roads.
Very, very slick conditions pretty much everywhere.
And more. With WTMJ Fleet Farm Storm Team alerts on air and at WTMJ.com.
Do you have a written financial plan? Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We have recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move allows us to provide more comprehensive wealth management services to help with all aspects of your finances, including your investments, taxes, estate plan, and more. At Creative Planning, we understand life is busy, and sometimes important things like retirement planning can fall to the wayside. So I'm here to remind you to take time to plan. A 1-hour complimentary consultation with our fiduciary advisors will help you get started on the path to your dream retirement. We will review your current financial situation, your goals and needs, and help you plan for life's what-ifs. Don't delay planning for your future any longer. And even if you already have a plan, a second opinion from our advisors can help determine if there are adjustments to make. Kowal Investment Group is now Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com to get started. That's creativeplanning.com.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Lark.
I love the location, and that's the main reason Dave and I are there, is because of nature all around us. I knew when we moved in, I was leaving behind a lot of stress and responsibility. I decided now is the time to do what I want when I want to do it.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, it's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I'm Kristin Brey. Guess what? Besides the day after Daylight Savings Day or time, guess what? Think of March 10th. Martin Lawrence's birthday? No.
Oh.
It's Mario Day.
Oh,
it's me, Mario. Because it's M-A-R, so it looks like Mario.
Okay.
I did not know that
very
until
nice.
this morning.
What does that mean? How do we celebrate?
How do we celebrate? So have fun this Mario Day at home or on the go. Get set for the big day with My Nintendo Universal Epic Universe Super Nintendo World Sweepstakes, the Nintendo Switch. So there's lots of stuff on the Nintendo website with different events. But I think other ways to celebrate is reckless driving.
That's every day. I love it. I'll tell the cops it's Mario Day.
You can pursue Princess Peach, which now you know
Wow,
is
now I know.
now you know because it was the we find out over the weekend who made it.
Who made Princess Peach?
No, remember because we were talking about the Video Games World Hall of Fame.
Oh no, they didn't release the winners yet. But I did confirm, much to because I think you said, "Oh, was Mario really in Donkey Kong?" Yes, Isaac confirmed it. The internet confirmed it.
So Donkey Kong came before Mario.
Donkey Kong came before Mario. Mario was in Donkey Kong.
All right,
and then he and his brother went out on their own. They forged their own path.
Michelle Franzen, the Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman says his office will not oppose a resentencing hearing for the Menendez brothers serving time for the murders of their parents 35 years ago.
The position we are taking today is that we will go forward. We are prepared to go forward with the court's initiated resentencing proceedings and look forward to a resentencing hearing on that motion. However, we are asking the court to withdraw the previous district attorney's motion for resentencing because we believe there are legitimate reasons and the interests of justice justifies that withdrawal.
New tariffs expected to go into effect this week on Canada lumber. That's jolting markets for another day. Syria's interim government signing a new agreement that creates a ceasefire in all Syrian territories and guarantees the rights of all Syrians, regardless of religious and ethnic backgrounds. It comes amid fierce fighting in the region. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:31. I'm Jessica Ty. Against a rash of frightening headlines and health scares, one annual threat to your well-being appears to have reached its peak. Flu activity across the country dropped for the third consecutive week. Here in Wisconsin, flu activity is still high, but is starting to go down. Influenza type A is still the dominant viral strain, spreading here in the Badger State. 2 new nonstop flight options are coming to Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport. Spirit Airlines will start flights from Milwaukee to Baltimore and Nashville this spring. Spirit is also resuming flights to Los Angeles. That LA service begins May 8th. The Baltimore and Nashville flights start the following day. And outages on X are due to a massive cyber attack. That's the word just in from Elon Musk. X, formerly known as Twitter, has been hit with 3 waves of outages since this morning. The problem started around 5 a.m. our time. Then they died down a little bit, but then they revved back up. Many users complained that the app wouldn't load. I know that happened to me this morning. Musk posted on X that he believes a large coordinated group and/or a country is involved. Time now for news about your money. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, and I wish it was better, but here's what we have. The Dow is down 880 points to 41,921. The S&P 500 is down a little bit more than 160 points to 5,608. And the NASDAQ is down 756 points to 17,433. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. We do have a new crash that popped up just minutes ago. I-43 North at Capitol Drive East. The right lane is blocked due to a crash. Once again, just in case you are headed that way, I-43 North at Capitol Drive East. Right lane blocked due to a crash. That's in Milwaukee County. And I am seeing emergency responders are saying they expect that to take about an hour to clean up. It does look like a mess. That's in that spot, too, where there's construction, and it's typically slow going as is. In fact, as I'm taking a peek at the cameras right now, I can see the construction trucks. They're doing their work. They're moving right now, but I also can see a car that is off to the side. Emergency responders already there, and they have their cones up, but traffic is moving along very slowly around that new crash. And here's the WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Mostly sunny and warm. What a fantastic way to start out the new work week. 65 degrees is our high. Wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour, but it's a warm breeze. Tonight, mostly clear, breezy and mild. We'll dip down to 40 for the low. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, cooler and breezy. High of 44 in the early morning hours. Upper 30s in the afternoon. Wednesday, partly cloudy. High of 47 by the lake. 53 inland. Thursday, partly cloudy, high of 51 by the lake, 60 inland. And then Friday, partly to mostly cloudy, breezy. Storms are likely in the evening hours, but listen to this. We have a high of 63 by the lake and a 70 inland. That's coming up on Friday. Pretty nice right now, though. It is already 66 degrees in Kenosha, 63 in Racine, and 64 here in Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is coming up on 1:35.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle until I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey. And you may or may not be familiar with a federal law known as the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, also known as EMTALA. So it requires emergency rooms that receive Medicare funding to stabilize patients experiencing medical emergencies before discharging or transferring them, regardless of patient's ability to pay. So you may have heard of this because there had been a federal court case over this law. And last week, the Trump administration dropped a high-profile lawsuit over the right to emergency abortions in Idaho, which is a pretty big reversal from the Biden administration. And so now reproductive rights advocates, providers, patients, and legislators have called this devastating and troubling. But how could the dismissal of this case impact us here in Wisconsin? So joining us now is State Senator Kelda Roys to walk us through what we should be aware of when it comes to EMTALA. Welcome to the show, Senator. Oh.
So Liberty
Can you
Voice.
hear me?
Oh, now we can. There we are.
Oh, great. Tech support. Sorry.
Yes,
it's good to
exactly.
be with you.
How are you doing today?
Well, I'm good, but I'm obviously very nervous about what this means for Wisconsin women.
Absolutely. So just besides the quick rundown I gave it, remind us what the EMTALA case was and kind of the winding path it's been on so far, because it was at the Supreme Court at one point, right?
That's right. And so basically post-Dobbs, after states started banning abortion, what happened is that women who were pregnant and experiencing dangerous, life-threatening medical emergencies were being turned away. In fact, some hospitals were actually airlifting them out of the state so that they could get emergency abortions out of states where it was legal. And obviously this is horrible. People should be able to receive emergency care in their local hospital and not be put on a helicopter or a dangerous ambulance ride.
So do we know what was behind the DOJ's decision to drop the case, Senator?
Yeah, Trump and the Republicans have made it their mission to try to make lives for women as dangerous and difficult as possible. They've never met an abortion ban they don't like, and they're just fine with women dying as a result of abortion bans. And we've seen that in state after state.
Was there anything else beyond, that as far as that they're saying that they don't think the case holds, or what was there any legal ramification that they put out when they said they were dropping it?
Well, I think it's important to understand that it's been a huge priority for the anti-choice movement to push the lie that abortion is never medically necessary, that it's never necessary to save a woman's life or health. And we just know that that's not true. And this case, because it highlights some of these absolutely wrenching cases where, a pregnancy is incompatible with someone continuing to live, it's hard for the right wing and the anti-abortion movement to reckon with it. And so their hope, I think, is just to bury this under the rug and hope people don't notice women dying.
Now, this case obviously was based on laws in Idaho, but how did the dismissal potentially impact women in Wisconsin?
Well, Wisconsin still has on the books today a total abortion ban dating back to 1849. Of course, this is before the Civil War, before women had the right to vote, before doctors washed their hands, before going into a medical procedure. So the only reason that 1849 ban is not in force right now is because it's currently pending in the court. A circuit court judge suspended it. However, there's a Supreme Court race on April 1st, and I can guarantee you that if Brad Schimmel is put on the court, he has said he is fine with the 1849 ban, and he will vote to reinstate that ban immediately when he's on the court. People really need to know what's at stake.
So basically you're saying while this specific dropping of the EMTALA case isn't affecting us now, it could be something that we see as far as if the 1849 ban is held up, if Brad Schimmel is on the court. Did we see anything like this in that year-long span when the 1849 ban was being enforced as far as women going to the hospital and being turned away during emergencies?
Yes. In fact, Wisconsin has many, many restrictions on abortion. The 1849 ban is just one of several anti-abortion laws. And what it's meant is that for some women who need emergency care when they are pregnant, if they need abortions, that they've needed to go out of the state. The Journal Sentinel, Jessica Van Egeren, great reporter, profiled one of these women who lives in northwestern Wisconsin in a rural area. and she was basically told, we can't give you an abortion because you're beyond the deadline when it's available in Wisconsin. You have to go out of state. And that was very traumatic for her, and her kids, and her husband.
So what can people do to try to protect women's health here in Wisconsin? I mean, is there anything we can do other than voting?
Well, voting is obviously the most important thing because April 1st is really going to determine so much about whether or not abortion is legal and protected, or whether we go back to 1849 with all abortions being a crime. And, I think it's just important to underscore that the 1849 abortion ban Wisconsin has is actually stricter than the laws in Texas and in Georgia that have resulted in the deaths of over 100 pregnant women since stops. Deaths from sepsis that are largely preventable, and other deaths that we've heard about in the media.
Senator, is there any talks of bipartisan legislation when it comes to women's health happening in the legislature right now?
I wish I could say that there was, because 30 years ago you could still find some Republican politicians who didn't want to criminalize abortion. But today, this is Trump's Republican Party. They go in lockstep with what he wants. And, there has been really no effort by any Republicans in the state to reckon with the results of women being harmed post-Dobbs, right? They don't want to talk about it. In fact, many of them refuse to even support IVF or the right to contraception. Things that you would think, okay, let's come together, let's reduce unintended pregnancies, or let's improve maternal health care so that we don't have one of the highest maternal and infant mortality rates in the nation. And yet we just don't see Republicans being willing to do that.
Is that, and I know this is just asking for conjecture on your part, Senator, do they not talk to their female constituents? Do their female constituents not consider this a big deal when you're there in the legislature talking to people? What are you hearing? Because it seems strange to vote against your own self-interest.
Well, and the reality is, if people are given the chance to vote on abortion, they vote pro-choice, and that's true in red, blues, and purple states like Wisconsin. And I have no doubt that if voters had the choice, they would. The problem is that in Wisconsin, we've had 15 years of the most extreme gerrymandered legislature in the country. And so Republicans have, they've lost the ability, I think, to be responsive to their constituents in this way because they are so focused on satisfying the most right-wing elements of their coalition. They only have to fear a primary from somebody further to the right of them on restricting abortion access. And that's been really, really damaging. My hope is that, if Susan Crawford is elected on April 1st, we will be able to retain these more competitive, fairer maps, and Democrats will actually have the chance to take the majority in 2 years. And, at a minimum, hopefully it will help retrain Republicans on, what should be our job, which is listening to constituents and enacting policies that will help people, not hurt them.
Last question before we let you go, Senator. Were you surprised, knowing how much money there is, how many ads there are, were you surprised by the Marquette Law School polls finding last week that most voters still don't have enough information to have a feeling on one way or the other for this coming election?
Yes. I think it's very, very scary. I think if people had any clue as to what is at stake here, there would be no question. They would be running out in droves to vote for Susan Crawford. And that's why it is really up to all of us to get the message out, make sure people do their research. This is not a he said, she said. They've got very, very clear records. Brad Schimmel left 6,000 rape kits untested, and he wants rapists to, force their victims to have their children. Susan Crawford will stand up for women, stand up for victims, and stand up for our rights.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Senator.
Thank you, Senator.
Good to see you. Thank you.
That was State Senator Kelda Royce talking about the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act. That is, to me, I remember when this case was going up to the Supreme Court, of just the fact that legalizing turning women who have sepsis away.
Yeah. It's
just as and this is what I can't wrap my head around, is just being a medical professional and seeing someone who is that close to irreparable harm, and being like, I can't help you.
Yeah. It is terrifying if I were the husband, the father, the son of somebody in a state where this is happening. You gotta, guys, it's not just a women's issue. You got to stand up. And it's terrifying that medical care has become such a political topic and such a politically divisive topic that we even have to have that question. If somebody's dying and they're at the hospital, help them.
Yeah.
That's it. It sounds so easy. And in the movie, you'd have, Robin Williams, the late Robin Williams, or George Clooney as a doctor, and they would screw the system. Well, in real life, you can't screw the system. You got to, unfortunately,
keep your
these
license?
doctors have to keep their licenses. Yeah.
All right, we'll have more after this on Spanning the State.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning showroom, you'll also find factory closeouts with lights and fans priced well below their original cost. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's, near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
I'm not against shopping online. In fact, you can check out our huge selection at BurkhartSportingGoods.com. But when you're ready to buy, Burkhart should be your only stop. Because here, you can grab hold of the Midwest's largest selection of baseball bats, gloves, and equipment, and take all the swings you need in our indoor batting cages to make sure you buy the right bat. And when you buy your new mitt, we'll steam and custom fit it for you right on the spot. This is Brian Burkhart, and when you love baseball and softball like we do,
You can't beat Burkhart.
if you're in charge of uniforms and equipment, you want to get the most value for your team's budget. You want the most for your money, and you want the process to be easy. Because you already have enough on your plate. We get it. Burkhart Sporting Goods Team Outfitting Division is the best you'll find. With an abnormally high customer satisfaction rate and our own silk screening and embroidery facility for quality control. So if you want the highest quality team outfitting and incredible service,
You can't beat Burkhart.
You gotta get to Built Right today. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Built Right furniture, leather, and mattresses. Shop Built Right's annual Friends and Family Sale and $1 Million clearance sell-off on now. If you are looking for affordable, better quality furniture or mattresses, you got to do what my wife and I did. We went to Built Right. We love our new living room furniture, our son's sleeping on a new mattress, and most importantly, we enjoyed the shopping experience. 4 generations, 97 years strong, celebrating 19 years in the Greenfield location. 3rd and 4th generation family members in the store, working alongside their amazing team. Be ready for your Easter guests with thousands of items in stock or custom order at a low sale price. USA made, small scale, Ohio Amish made, and real solid wood furniture. 60 models of USA made mattresses. Built Right always saves you money. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right, 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
It's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I'm Kristin Brey. And we don't have a lot of time to talk about this, but I'm so sad that this is it, which is not only the oldest gay bar in Milwaukee, it's one of the oldest gay bars in the country.
Right.
Announced over the weekend via social media that it's closed. Like there's no going. It's not like we are closing.
Right.
We're having one big last party.
Yeah, what was the one New Year's Eve that had the big closeout that you went to?
Oh yeah, Victor's, right? Where they're like, oh, we're having a 24-hour fire
big blowout.
sale, right?
Let's go.
And I feel like there has to be more to this story because I know as that was circulating yesterday between my friends and I, it just felt like it makes sense as far as coming back from COVID, right?
Sure.
A lot of businesses still are struggling from what that was like. They also referenced the fact that it's been 8 months of road construction on Wells Street, which does feel like kind of looking at the city and being like, why did this 4-block radius take 8 months to finish?
Yeah, if you the 8 months, you look back you started in the late fall. What do you do?
Well, they're not the only business that's struggled because of that. And so it's frustrating because I feel like had there been a fundraiser or something, there's a lot of people in the community that would have come together to try to save it. And it just feels like so unceremonious to just have it like literally part of history just close without any sort of goodbye.
And isn't one of the owners a celebrity in the drag world? I mean,
Trixie Mattel, yeah.
Right. So
Trixie's from Wisconsin. Yeah.
I wonder why they kept it so quiet. Because as a business owner, you see this coming. You don't just wake up one day and go, "Oh, we're out of business." So why not get the word out? Because the community is going to support it. Trixie's notoriety or celebrity status will get people behind it. There might be something to do.
Well, and now finally, just as the weather's getting better, the construction's finally done.
Exactly. So now you're going into a busier season. Why the silence? That's the part that just seems unusual.
Well, that's why I feel like there has to be more to this story, because I feel like the owners have to know that there's this much love for that place.
Yeah.
That there would be an outpouring of support if people knew it was this close to coming to an end.
Yeah, I wonder how, like you said, after COVID, businesses are hurting. I wonder if there wasn't that support since then. If people were deciding to not go out, that combined.
I've been there a handful of times. There were still a lot of people.
Okay,
there.
Well then, it doesn't. Then it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe
strange.
It's not the end of the story. Maybe there will be some kind of revival. But certainly, if it is the end, a loss for the city and a loss for the queer community. So. With that, we will take a break, and when we come back, we will spin around the state on Spanning the State.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
Frozen custard stands would rather raise prices a little bit than compromise on quality.
Entertainment.
It's such a gory body horror film, but I just love how award season is getting people talking about it.
And more.
I ended up going in and having surgery, and once the swelling went down on my face and my helmet fit, that was the best finals I ever had.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristin Brey, and if you're looking for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economawalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. I can assure you that he will prioritize your needs no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. If you're due for a dental visit, Economawalk Dental has an $89 new patient special, so you can get the care that you need at an affordable price. And in addition to my exam, Dr. Michael's staff provided a gentle, professional cleaning that left my mouth feeling smooth and rejuvenated. We all have to go to the dentist, so don't put it off any longer. Check out Economawalk Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. If you want to start feeling confident about your smile, go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economawalk Dental Care.
Are you ready to shake things up at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee? All you gotta do is toss your rewards card into your favorite slots for drawing entries and a chance to be in the Roll for Riches game show. What's on the table? Oh, just $300K in cash and prizes. Play this March, and Thursday nights, you could get on a winning streak that, frankly, you deserve. Let it ride and roll for riches. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
A buck in today's world doesn't go far unless you're spending it at Griffin. Because for just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. Buy one or a whole set. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand. We'll put you in new tires for just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. That's right, $1 over cost, and we'll even show you the invoice to prove it. So what's the catch? There's really no catch. You don't have to buy a car or a truck from us. We'd like it if you did, but our only requirement is we put them on for you. Buy one, two, or a set of four. The $1 deal at Griffin. Available at Griffin Chrysler Jeep South, 27th Street and Jefferson. Griffin Chevrolet in the Auto Mall. Griffin, Ford, Waukesha, and Fort Atkinson. 5 ways to make your dollar go further. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
During the transfiguration of Jesus, Peter said that they should set up 3 tents on the mountain. Peter wanted to stay in that moment. This is Archbishop Jeffrey Grob. We also can get stuck focusing on the wrong things we don't want to change. During this Jubilee year, the Holy Father has asked us to be signs of hope for others. With hope, we see that we can change. As we begin this Lent, let us each use our gifts and talents to show the world that change and hope are possible in Jesus. Please join us at Mass.
Beer fans, travel lovers, and history buffs, this is your dream vacation. Join me, Sandy Max, on a 10-day journey through Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. We'll enjoy Munich's famous beer halls, sip our way through Salzburg's historic breweries, and discover Vienna's culture and craft beer scene. Then end the tour in Prague, where ancient history meets modern brews. From iconic castles to authentic flavors, grab your passport and let's raise a glass to the ultimate beer adventure. Limited spots available. Book now. Email me, sandy@wtmj.com to learn more.
Are you on track to achieve your retirement plans? Hi, I'm Jeff Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We've recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move to Creative expands our ability to provide comprehensive wealth management, investment advisory, and retirement planning services. Now is the time to put your lifetime of hard work into action. For over 37 years, we've helped clients toward making their retirement dreams become a reality, and we'd like to help you too. And the best part, your plan will be completely tailored to you. Our in-house team of specialists will take the time to learn about you and your family, review your current situation, and find out what your goals are. Then we'll design a plan to help you get there. To get started, request your free meeting today with one of our fiduciary advisors by visiting creativeplanning.com. Whether you have met with us in the past or this will be your first meeting with us, we're excited to introduce Kowal Investment Group to you as Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com today.
With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 60 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, breezy, and mild with a low of 40, but those wind gusts will get up to 25 miles an hour. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Tiff Pua. Violence at Denise Park on Milwaukee's northwest side.
A shooting investigation is underway after 2 people died and 1 person was injured. Late Sunday afternoon, Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office found a 19-year-old man with gunshot injuries. He was treated at the park, then transported to a hospital where he later died. A second 19-year-old man later walked into a hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. Then, in another part of Milwaukee, a 26-year-old man was found dead in a vehicle. The sheriff's office believes all 3 victims were shot at the same park. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
No injuries or property damage after a marsh fire ignites in Brookfield.
What started as a grass fire behind Soren's Ford dealership Sunday afternoon quickly grew into a fire out of control. Several homes on Chapel Hill Drive and Compton Lane, as well as the Brookfield Sports Complex and Voight Soccer Park, were all evacuated out of precaution. Officials say limited access and high winds made the blaze difficult to put out. The fire was ultimately extinguished around 6:15. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Canada slapping a new tax on electricity that goes to the U.S. ABC's Sherry Preston.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says new rules will require any generator selling electricity to the U.S. to add an additional 25% surcharge starting now. The charge could mean an additional $69 added on to the bills of 1.5 million Americans in New York, Michigan, and Minnesota who currently buy their power from Canada. Ford says it doesn't matter that President Trump has postponed most Canadian tariffs. The electricity surcharge will remain.
The new surcharge is on top of the Canadian government's initial $21 billion worth of retaliatory tariffs applied already to items like American orange juice, peanut butter, coffee, and appliances. Another round of deep cleaning at a Milwaukee public school. Trowbridge School in Bayview was closed last week because of high levels of lead dust. Students and staff were relocated to the Wisconsin Conservatory of Lifelong Learning while cleaning continues. The district says if the school meets all its clearance requirements, students and staff could potentially return as soon as Friday. College recruitment with a literal twist. Over 10,000 high school seniors will receive a special Marquette University branded box at their doors this spring. Inside is a pretzel from Milwaukee Pretzel Company. Dr. Kimo Ayun tells WTMJ the pretzel push is how Marquette tries to welcome new undergrads differently than other schools.
There are some people who put on social media them getting their pretzels and eating with their family and getting, 1 million plus hits. How do you stand out to get the attention? For us, it's get them to visit Marquette. And once they do that, we're very successful.
The university first began delivering pretzels in the spring of 2020. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red today. The Dow is down 1,073 points to 41,728. The S&P 500 is down 189 points to 5,580. And the Nasdaq is down 850 points to 17,345. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 2:04.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
The deeper the hole, the more damage you're going to cause, especially if you're driving around with low tire pressure.
We're talking about potholes, and if you're not careful, they'll spring up out of nowhere and bite you right in the keister.
We've fixed broken ball joints, broken control arms, blown struts, damaged wheel alignments.
You name it, we fixed it. That wheel alignment is an adjustment of your suspension, which is a system that connects your car to its wheels.
And when your alignment's off, you get uneven, premature tire wear, and we have a fix for that too.
If a pothole has bitten you where it hurts, come to Richlands for a professional evaluation by one of our ASE certified technicians.
And at the very least, we'll make sure you have the right amount of air pressure in your tires.
And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
Due for Service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The NFL League year and free agent signing period begins Wednesday, and a pair of wide receivers have new homes. Former Packers wide receiver Devontae Adams agrees to contract terms with the LA Rams, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are acquiring wide receiver DK Metcalf for a second-round draft pick. In college basketball, the Marquette Golden Eagles qualify for the Big East tournament as the number 5 seed. They will take on Xavier in the first round on Thursday, around 1:30. The Wisconsin Badgers, also a number 5 seed in the Big Ten. The Badgers will play Thursday at 1:30 against either Northwestern or Minnesota. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding, and a whole lot more. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. The big issue to report, 43 north at Capitol Drive East. The right lane was blocked due to a crash, but the tow truck is come and gone. The police are still out, but that means the backups are still stretching all the way back to Walnut. Stay safe in that area. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mostly clear, breezy, and mild with a low of 40. For your Tuesday, partly cloudy, cooler and breezy, a high of 44. Wednesday, partly cloudy with a high of 53 inland, 47 near the lake. Thursday, partly cloudy with a high of 60. Friday, partly to mostly cloudy, breezy, with night storms likely, a high of 70. In Madison, it's 62. In Waukesha, it's 64. In Green Bay, it's 57. And in Milwaukee, it is sunny and 60 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 2:07.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristin, Brey, and Brian Noonan.
Well, it's time for another week of stories that may not be at the top of the headlines, but you will find them interesting. And if you miss any of the details, be sure to text SPIN to the Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. That's 855-616-1620. We've had 2 days away from the wheel. Kristin, have you missed it terribly?
Always.
Then let's spin it.
Ashwaubenon.
All right, well, you know Green Bay and the surrounding area are eagerly anticipating the arrival of the NFL Draft festivities next month. In addition to the anticipation, however, there are some concerns that have Ashwaubenon residents worried, mostly how they're going to get around and park during the event, which makes sense. The maps laying out the street closures for the NFL Draft do look imposing, but organizers assure residents and businesses that they'll be able to get around one way or another. Streets, parking, and road closures took up the lion's share of the discussion about the draft at the Ashwaubenon informational meeting last week. The draft presentation was essentially the same as the one on the City of Green Bay's YouTube page. The Press-Gazette reported that Jennifer Marks, an NFL representative involved in the planning, told the crowd, quote, "We will not restrict access for you to live and work," end quote. The draft is scheduled for April 24th through 26th on the Lambeau Field campus and some surrounding blocks. Attendance is projected at 250,000 people. Yeah. Now, they say that's not individual people, but people come over the days. You're going to get that many people.
I'm just trying to think of the different, with the RNC, which was 50,000 people, the projected amount, and Milwaukee is a bigger city than Green Bay. And just how intense that's going to feel. And I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, do you choose to get out of town entirely just to avoid the mess? Or do you want to be there to experience what could be once in a lifetime?
I would imagine the more of a Packers fan you are, the more you want to stay. And you're going to figure it out because it's 3 days. You know, there are a couple days before and a couple days after for setup and cleanup. But this is a big deal.
It is.
How big? It's supposed to generate $94 million for the state and $20 million for the Green Bay area.
You know, it'd be interesting to see, because I remember these stories being written about what certain houses were going for like Airbnb and VRBO. If there's that many people putting their house up to rent, and that would probably be an indicator of how many people in Green Bay are like, nah, I'm going to stick around and see what this is like.
Maybe, yeah. Especially the people that live that close to to Lambeau. That would be crazy. So that's coming up next month. We'll be covering it like crazy here on WTMJ and our sister station ESPN. But let's see what's next on the wheel.
Milwaukee.
All right, Milwaukee. Well, DEI and proposed tariffs have been coming under fire quite a lot lately. The pullback from diversity initiatives, depressing sponsorships, and tariffs increasing costs, Pride Fest Milwaukee has been preparing for big changes to how it plans and operates its 2025 festival, including raising ticket prices. Pride Fest anticipates a significant drop in sponsorships this year as a result of President Donald Trump's executive orders around diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Milwaukee Business Journal reported that Milwaukee Pride CEO Wes Shaver said that the festival anticipates sponsorships and partnerships will drop by about $50,000, a 30% decrease, which he claimed are, quote, directly related to Trump's anti-DEI and anti-LGBT rhetoric. Sponsorships make up between 12% and 14% of the festival's total revenue. Shaver went on to say, quote, folks are now afraid that if they sponsor, let's say Pride Fest, does the administration and its investigators assume that it's an initiative of their DEI efforts? I'm involved in these conversations with longtime partners, and it can be seen as a blurry conversation. Last year, Pride Fest had 32 sponsorships and community partners. Shaver said it is unclear what the future looks like as the festival adapts.
It's not good.
Not good.
When companies are worried about sponsoring something in their community because the federal government might be watching them.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, if you missed any of the details on either of the stories from today's Spinning the State, then by all means, text SPIN to the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620, or you could just subscribe to our podcast, and then you'll get it without having to worry at all. When we come back, did you know that Milwaukee County had a list of police officers that had credibility issues? I did not. Unfortunately, the list is not being, curated the way it should. So Ashley Lutheran, who's been covering this story for the Journal Sentinel, is going to join us to talk all about it after this on Spanning the State.
There are a lot of interesting people and traditions in Wisconsin. 1 hour of covering culture and creativity in our state is simply not enough. I'm Sandy Max of WTMJ's What's on Tap with the happy news that my show is now expanded to 2 hours. So please join me weeknights from 6 till 8 for updates on festivals, films, food, music, theater, and other ways we love to make the most of Wisconsin life. What's on Tap with Sandy Max weeknights now from 6 till 8 on WTMJ. And subscribe to the What's on Tap podcast to listen anytime you want.
Are you ready to embark on a voyage like no other? At Fox World Travel, our specialty cruise desk creates unforgettable cruise experiences just for you. Explore the serene Mediterranean, the exotic Caribbean, or the breathtaking beauty of Alaska. We partner with top cruise lines including Celebrity, Holland America, Royal Caribbean, and Viking. Enjoy personalized itineraries, exclusive deals, and expert guidance. From booking to boarding, we manage all the details for a stress-free experience. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO, press 2, and mention code RADIO to start planning.
Healthy joints, healthy lifestyle. Vince Vetrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Arthritis, injuries, wear and tear, common joint issues that keep you from doing what you love. At OAW, a visit to the doctor doesn't always mean surgery. Everyone is different. Surgeons, nurses, physical therapists work together to come up with a plan for you. Maybe it's PT, medication, injection, and if you do need surgery like I did, you know you're in the best of hands. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. Book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
We're on the air in 3, 2...
Hey, it's Vince Vetrano.
John Mercure here. Wait, does that car say Pella on the side? What's Gina Della doing here?
Sorry, I'm late.
We're on the air in 3, 2...
Recognize my voice? Get used to it.
Talk all things Windows, business, and being a boss in more ways than one with Gina Della from Pella's very own show right here on WTMJ. Starting February 1st, tune into What's the Difference every Saturday morning at 6:30 or stream anytime on WTMJ.com.
What a tease.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Kristin Brey.
And I'm Brian Noonan. I did not know this. I guess I've watched enough procedurals on TV. I should have. But under the law, you have a right to know if the police officer that arrested you has any credibility concerns, allegations of dishonesty or bias, or past criminal charges. It is up to the prosecutors, though, how and if and when you get that information. So the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office has a system for tracking officers with any credibility concerns, but it's incomplete and it's been found to not be very reliable. The Journal Sentinel, in partnership with TMJ4 and Wisconsin Watch, investigated the reporting of integrity violations. And here to tell us more about the investigation and its findings, is Journal Sentinel's Ashley Lutheran, who covers public safety, crime, and policing. Ashley, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so this all is based on something called the Brady-Gillio list. What is that list, and what's it supposed to do?
Sure. So
a Brady-Giglio list. It takes its name from two U.S. Supreme Court rulings that go back decades. Essentially, it requires prosecutors to disclose any potentially exculpatory information that might be favorable to the defense. That can include if an officer has ever had a credibility issue, indications of past bias, anything like that, with the understanding that that perhaps may be favorable to the defense, especially if a case is an officer's word and a citizen who is accused of a crime against their word.
So then in Wisconsin specifically, do we have any rules or anything specific to our state of how the Brady list should be handled?
No, and this investigation builds off of Wisconsin Watch's reporting last year. They surveyed all 72 counties, asking for asking how local district attorneys maintain, compile, and share Brady material as it relates to officer credibility, and they found various wide variety. Some DAs said, no, we don't have anything, we don't maintain anything. Others said, oh, I might be new in office, let me take a look here. Others did produce a list or a partial list. Milwaukee County produced at that time a list of officers who had been criminally charged or convicted of criminal offenses. The only state in the country that has any statewide guidelines around Brady list is Colorado.
Huh.
The only state?
The only state.
Wow.
So it sounds like then this is different from regular discovery rules. The DA doesn't have to turn this over. Do they have to wait for it to be requested? How does that work?
No. It is part of discovery.
Okay.
And they are required under their ethical obligations and their legal obligations to disclose this kind of, as I said, exculpatory material. So what ends up happening in practice from defense attorneys that we've talked to in Milwaukee County and elsewhere is that frequently, and also this came up in our interview with the DA and the police chief and the sheriff, that sometimes an officer who may have a credibility issue, maybe on the Brady list, they will flag that information. Maybe that officer isn't the primary officer on the case, right? Maybe they had some very minor role. They're still required to disclose that. Ultimately, it's up to a defense attorney to decide if they think it will help their client and to raise that. And then it's up to a judge to decide if it's relevant. So there are all these tiers before it actually gets discussed in court.
So how, as you were investigating this, when you were talking to DAs, like the new DA in Milwaukee, is there defensiveness around this, or is it kind of like something that they just had overlooked and especially when you compare it to county by county and the lack of consistency?
So Milwaukee County obviously is a huge county. I think the Milwaukee County DA's office, they have maintained what they call their officer status database or list going back more than 2 decades. And so it appeared, as my colleagues and I were reviewing this information, we were filing records requests to get more information about how these officers got on the list. It became kind of clear to us that this list wasn't regularly spot checked or maintained. It looked like certainly if people were charged with new offenses, they were being added. But in particular, we found a case that had been expunged in 2002. We found several officers had been deceased. And by the same token, we saw an officer listed for an offense that happened in last year, 2024, but had a previous integrity violation several years earlier. And we brought that to the DA's attention, all of these findings. To his credit, he said, well, the list is always subject to change with new information. This is new information. So he changed the list as a result of some of that reporting. But the policy itself, and future stories will go into this in Milwaukee County, as to how the DA's office maintains and updates the Brady list is about a paragraph long. It specifically highlights criminal offenses and internal violations. And there are other experts, legal experts around the country and defense attorneys who would argue it should be a little bit broader than that. If a judge finds an officer's testimony is not credible, for example, perhaps that should be on the list. Again, not saying that it will ultimately come into play in future cases, but that you should be aware of it.
As you and your colleagues went through this list, was there a certain type of credibility issue that was more, not popular, but occurred more than others? Was there a breakdown?
Yeah. And so I guess just to take a step back, in September of last year, the Milwaukee County DA's office released what they considered to be their full Brady list, which included officers involved in criminal violations and internal violations. When we looked at those, it was about 3/4 were criminal and 1/4 were internal violations. And we went through, the DA's office at that time said they could not I quoted this in the story, and I apologize, I don't have the language in front of me, but essentially we cannot vouch for the accuracy of every single piece of information on this list, and that's why we went and got the records. And when we looked at the records and kind of coded it, about 45% related to a direct integrity or misconduct issue, something where perhaps someone falsified the times they checked on people in the jail, for example. About 14% related to domestic violence allegations or offenses. Another 14% related to alcohol. There's a fair amount of drunk driving. And the DA spoke to this before a county board meeting as well a month or two back and said frequently officers are charged off duty, they're drunken driving, and they may have their service weapon with them. That becomes a misdemeanor. So just some examples.
So who's ultimately responsible for keeping it up to not only keeping it up to date and accurate, but then also who's accountable for checking, besides journalists, if it's up to date and accurate? And why is it important for the public that the list is up to date and accurate?
Sure. So ultimately, Brady obligations are the responsibility of the prosecutor of the district attorney's office. And in Milwaukee County, the policy has been for internal violations, police agencies are expected to self-report. They're expected to tell the DA's office, hey, we have an integrity violation, especially those are the ones that get flagged or supposed to get flagged, and they'll refer that to the DA's office for consideration. Ultimately, it seems to be up to the district attorney and some of their deputies who they consult with as to whether or not an officer is placed on the Brady list. And I apologize, Kristin, I forgot the second part.
It was a three-part question. So besides journalists, is it really just on? Is it because of this investigation that if that's who's supposed to be keeping it up to date, is there anyone else who's holding them accountable to keep it up to date?
From our reporting, no.
Okay.
And I think journalists really, that's why my colleagues and I felt it was important to be transparent. We made no secret. Back in September, October, we were publishing about how we were working on this investigation. We had lots of conversations and on record interviews with the primary officials in the county who are affected by this list, who are maintaining it. And then we certainly brought forward our findings before publishing. So the list that we did publish is the most up-to-date list provided by the DA's office. It reflects the information that we brought to their attention. 7 people had been removed because of information that we brought forward, and another person had a secondary offense that was added to the list, which now is affecting cases within a 3-year span where they had been a state's witness. And so the public really should care about this for a couple of reasons. The first reason is the public, everyone, one of my colleagues in the newsroom today actually just had jury duty, right? Okay. Everyone has jury duty. When you are making findings of fact, you should have the absolute best information in front of you. And Brady lists are one small component to help make sure the process is fair and just. If you're an officer, I think we've heard from officers after our reporting and before, but mostly after, who didn't know they were on the list. And they want to talk. Oh, wow. And they want to talk to the DA's office about, hey, why am I on this list? Yeah. Is it for this thing that happened many, many years ago? Could I possibly get off? I've had all this great work since then. And I think, finally, if you are accused of a crime, it is your constitutional right to have this information.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. But now I want to ask, you mentioned there's going to be more follow-up stories. And what's next for the DA's office? You talked about how the DA responded to the information that you and your colleagues presented him. What's going to happen next, and what's next for the stories?
I certainly can't predict the future. I think the DA Kent Lovern, to his credit, has been very responsive to our findings. When we've asked about specific cases and individuals, he has clearly taken a look at them. I expect there will be more conversations among local government leaders about how this list is maintained, perhaps even some conversation at the state level, because police unions also are concerned about the lack of statewide standards and inconsistencies. I know the defense bar, specifically attorneys with the State Public Defender's Office, are planning to meet again with the local DA and bring forward again several people that they do believe should be on the Brady list and bring forward documentation for that. And so I expect those conversations to keep going.
All right. Well, Ashley, thanks very much for coming in. Ashley Lutheran covers public safety, crime, and policing for the Journal Sentinel, and along with TMJ4 and Wisconsin Watch, you guys are investigating this, and we'll be looking forward to the next installment.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. We'll be back with more on Spanning the State.
Whatever you want to call this season, we're over it. Time to look forward to
fly ball, right field. It is deep. It is gone!
spring training is finally here and back on the radio.
Back again and gone again for Hoskins.
Make sure to catch our next spring training broadcast as the Brewers take on the Giants Friday at 3. No matter the season, we are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Hey, boaters!
Inexperienced boaters are more than welcome here, because at Kendor Marine you'll find all the answers to your questions on parts, installation, troubleshooting, and the best part is, when we figure out what you need, we can grab it from our massive inventory of boat parts and supplies that no one around can match. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine, we got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey, boaters!
Where else are you going to find weather stripping for a 77 Carver? That's what he said, and I don't know the answer to that one, but he sure was glad he found it here. I'm Dave Doro with Kendor Marine, and when it comes to boat parts and supplies, we have it all. If you're a boater and you need it, we got it. And that's why you got to get here. Boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine, we got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, Accunet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an Accunet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
When Blaine's Farm and Fleet was founded 70 years ago, selling goods at a discount wasn't the norm. The Blaine brothers helped pioneer a new era in retail, and we've helped supply Midwest farms and families with quality products at unbeatable prices ever since. Like 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil, $20.99 after mail-in rebate, and select DeWalt sump pumps, $224.99. All other sump pumps are 10% off. In store or online, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
It's Spanning the State. I'm Kristin Brey.
And I'm Brian Noonan. On the other side of the news, we are going to talk about the budget. And sometimes people hear budget and they go, oh, no, not the budget. But this is, especially with the one that's coming out of the federal government and the state budget, and we know there's a lot of talk and a lot of money at stake, and we know we got to get to the bottom of this whole thing.
Indeed, indeed. So we're going to be talking to Jason Stein, who is the president of Wisconsin Policy Forum, because very few people, I think, understand the nuances of the state budget than that man.
Yes, thankfully we have Jason to explain it, because if it was up to me to explain it, it would not go over very well. So we will do that on the other side, but right now it is time for ABC News and local headlines on WTMJ.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. U.S. imposed tariffs on its top trading partners and reciprocal tariffs on U.S. goods, leading to uncertainty, and that's driving stocks down today. The cost of energy, the latest to be hit by the trade war.
1.5 million Americans in the states of Michigan, Minnesota, and New York currently get their power from Canada, which is now adding a 25% surcharge onto electricity that goes to the U.S. The average cost believed to be around $69 added onto the electric bills of those affected. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says the trade war needs to end, and he won't hesitate to cut off the electricity completely if needed.
ABC Sherry Preston. The House will vote tomorrow on a budget bill aimed at averting a government shutdown. That deadline at the end of this week. Republicans, though, may not have enough votes to pass without Democratic support. The Vatican says Pope Francis continues to improve as he recovers from double pneumonia. Officials say he's participating in video meetings and has no plans to step down. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 2:31. I'm Tiff Pua. School Resource Officer training begins today for several Milwaukee police officers. The National Association of School Resource Officers confirms to WTMJ that 38 officers are enrolled in this training. The classes come ahead of a Saturday court-imposed deadline to show progress on getting 25 officers back into Milwaukee Public Schools. The City of Milwaukee and MPS had agreed to split the cost of implementing the SROs 50-50. The court order requires that the city show proof of progress or risk thousands of dollars in daily fines. Milwaukee police need help finding a missing teenager. 13-year-old Chantel Simmons was last seen Sunday afternoon near 35th and Pierce on Milwaukee's southwest side. Simmons is described as a black female, 5 foot 1 inches tall, and weighing 105 pounds with brown eyes and long black hair. She's wearing ripped bell-bottom jeans and a gray Cars shirt. She should be on foot. You can see her photo on our website, WTMJ.com. And a body was recovered from Lake Michigan. Kenosha police responded to Eichelman Park around 4:55 Sunday afternoon. The park has since been reopened. The identity of the person missing has not been made public. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything's still in the red. The Dow is down 847 points to 41,953. The S&P 500 is down 153 points to 5,617. And the NASDAQ is down 706 points to 17,489. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Big issue to report, 43 north at Capitol Drive East. The right lane used to be blocked with a crash. That's been cleared out, but the backdrops go all the way back to Highland because of the construction through that area. What doesn't help is one more incident along that same stretch, 43 north at the ramp from North Avenue. The right lane was blocked with a disabled vehicle, but the tow truck is out. It's just slow crawling through that area. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mostly clear, breezy, and mild with a low of 40, but those wind gusts get up to 25 miles an hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy, cooler, and breezy with a high of 44. Wednesday, partly cloudy with a high of 53. Thursday, partly cloudy with your high going up to 60, but Friday's better, partly to mostly cloudy, breezy with night storms likely, a high of 70. Right now in Watertown, it's 61. In Union Grove, it's 67. And in Milwaukee, it's sunny and 61 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 2:34.
Tariffs and the threat of their implementation have become a central part of the United States trade and foreign policy. What are tariffs? How are they implemented? And what sectors of the economy could benefit if they're put in place? Join me and Annex Wealth Management's Dave Spano, Chief Economist Brian Jacobson on March 11th at 1 p.m. for their informative webinar. Learn how your portfolio and your financial plan might be impacted and affected by tariffs. Visit the Annex Wealth Management webinar page at WTMJ.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee. Did you know that Adam members employ more than 7,500 people? Plus, Adam recently completed their 14th annual Feeding America Change Your Oil promotion. To date, Adam has donated over $875,000, which provided over 2.6 million meals. Start your next car search by finding an Adam member dealer at adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Oh boy, it's getting so expensive to dine out, but not at the Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The Mind Chef is family-owned, understands inflation hurts. Every Monday when you buy one pizza, you get a second pizza absolutely free. Any size, any quantity. You buy one, get one free. Buy two, get two free. Buy 10 pizzas, get 10 free pizzas. Business owners, managers, bring in pizza for your hardworking employees and your key clients. They're going to love it because it's delicious pizza and your second pizza's free, saving your company a ton of money. Bring your family in today for free pizza. Your kids will love that world-class game room. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and near EAA and Oshkosh, just off the interstate. Lots of seating, lots of close parking. No need to cook. Don't think about cleaning today. Mondays can be tough enough. Buy one pizza, get one free at the Mine Shaft. Plenty to take home for tomorrow. Desserts, and I love their desserts, are also buy one, get one free. Just walk in today for your free Monday pizza. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
It is Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey. And as the U.S. House of Representatives looks to create a budget that could dramatically reshape the federal government, Wisconsin lawmakers are right in the middle of crafting our next 2-year state budget. And so if the House plans to cut $2 trillion in federal spending and $880 billion of that, which could come from programs like Medicaid, what does that actually mean for our state budget? How much does the federal spending get included when we are making a budget every two years? So here to walk us through it is Jason Stein, president of Wisconsin Policy Forum. Welcome back to the show, Jason.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So I guess first and foremost, how much money do we get from the federal government?
So under this budget proposal, it would be about $18 billion in federal funding out of about $59 billion overall for, any year of the 2-year budget. And, a lot of that is in the area of health and food benefits.
Okay.
Funding what programs, Jason?
So, you're really, your 500-pound gorilla, your largest program is Medicaid health coverage for low-income state residents. And, in addition, within the Department of Health Services, there's Food Share, which is what used to be called food stamps. There's also several billion in federal funding at the University of Wisconsin that's from everything from research to student financial aid. There's significant funding as well in the departments of transportation for road and highway projects, children and families for things like what are the successor programs to welfare, like Wisconsin Shares, the child care subsidy. And then last, there's money in the Department of Public Instruction, mainly for aid for low-income students and students with disabilities in school districts around the state. And then after that, it's a big drop-off in terms of the other state agencies that get money.
So I guess, how much does this upend the state budget process? Like, how much does the Joint Finance Committee have to wait to see what the federal government's going to do before they can even come up with a budget?
It certainly introduces uncertainty. At the same time, these programs, by and large, are outlined in statute at the federal level. There's certainly some things that are competitive funding, or it's not to say that nothing could be withdrawn, and some things probably will be withdrawn. Most of these big marquee programs like Medicaid, they're in statute, and I think probably elected officials at the state level are going to continue with the assumption that what is in federal law will remain applicable unless federal law gets changed. That being said, I don't think anybody could deny that there's more uncertainty than there was, say, 6 months ago about some of these items.
So does that mean the Joint Finance Committee kind of is in a holding pattern now, or can they go ahead even though they're not really sure what federal money is coming in?
Again, I think for most of these big items, they move forward. I think, where it could be more difficult is when, the state is considering a new policy. So, again, for existing Medicaid programs in which it pays for elderly or disabled people to be in nursing homes or other, care facilities, long-term care facilities, I assume they'll probably just continue on expecting that funding is going to be there as it always has been. Where you could get more of a rub is, should the state pursue something like Medicaid expansion when you have talk at the federal level about changing the kind of federal aid that would come with that, their, state leaders may decide to pump the brakes.
Well, and that was going to be my next question. So I think maybe the last time we had you on, we were talking about your Wisconsin Policy Forum report on what it is cost the state, or basically the benefits and costs of Wisconsin's choice not to expand Medicaid. If that were to get slashed at the federal level, do you think Wisconsin's choice not to expand it will have turned out to be a smart one, or is it still money that we have lost in the interim?
So, it's a great question. I think it certainly could change the calculus about whether we enter in going forward. That being said, there were very large amounts of funds that the state could have qualified for in the past had it, we done expansion in 2014 when it was first available. Some states have written their laws in such a way that if the federal government changes its support for the program, that those additional benefits end. So, it certainly could have been crafted in such a way that the state would have been protected against a change at the federal level, and the change has not yet happened. So, I think that's in the eye of the beholder.
Got it. And then, so with all this uncertainty, there's obviously Governor Evers has a very ambitious budget proposal, which you guys just wrote about. Yeah. But there's also Republicans beating the drum of tax cuts. And so if there's huge slashes in federal funding, are either of those things likely to happen, or is at the state level we're going to have to make up for some of these programs with state budget funding and not do the ambitious thing that Evers wants to do, and also maybe not be able to give the tax cuts that Republicans say they want to do?
I mean, I think it's certainly, we just put out our report, which is available for free on our website, wispolicyforum.org, on the state budget last week. I think at the moment, the state has a $4 billion general fund balance, roughly, and $2 billion in its rainy day fund. So we're in pretty good shape as a state, but in the general fund, our balance has been falling because we're spending more than we're taking in the current budget, and that would continue under the governor's proposal. It would intensify. So I do think it's worth really looking at, for the public and elected officials, what is the level of reserves we want to carry? What are the kind of commitments we want to take on, whether it's new spending or new tax cuts going forward? Because not only do we have some uncertainty about federal aid, but I think what is probably even more to the point at this moment is we appear to have some softening in the national economy. We have, consumer sentiment has dropped. The stock market is not the same thing as the economy, but it certainly gives us a window into the economy. The markets have been disrupted in recent days. So I think, that's another thing that we need to factor in, or at least elected officials may want to factor in as they think about how much should we take on in terms of new commitments.
All right. Well, anything else that's catching your eye right now as far as the ever-changing economy?
No, we are going to try and look more in detail at this issue of federal funding, either, delays or cuts, and to see more about what that means for the state. Really, at the moment, we've had just a lot of talk and agitation about it, but not a lot of clear windows into, at a global sense, what's been happening. We're going to try and get that for people of the state. We'll see what level of success we have on it.
All right. Well, Jason Stein, president of the Wisconsin Policy Forum, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Jason.
Always my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Talk to you.
All right. We'll be back with more after this.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. And they're the best. Let them make outdoor living unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Menards is the one-stop shop for huge savings on new, energy-efficient appliances. Upgrade your home today and save big on top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. Buy now, save now on Whirlpool appliances you can take home today. Check out our entire selection of home appliances on Menards.com. Plus, view the weekly flyer for many other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
We've saved our clients over $19 million in real estate commission. I say this because that's a pretty big number. But at Century 21 Benefit Realty, it's really not about being a top volume agency. Over here, it's more about you. And at 1.9% commission and no more than $19,000 commission for the listing side of your sale, no matter what size property you're selling, you will save substantially. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey.
I'm Brian Noonan. Isaac, you did pick the most on-the-nose song for this. Did you spend the weekend, Kristin, following the escapades of Jackie and Shadow?
I did not, because those names do not ring a bell.
Oh, well, it's not a celebrity couple. It's not a pop star beef. Nobody's calling anyone a pedophile. Jackie and Shadow are a pair of bald eagles, and over the past few years, they've become internet stars because their flock has been increasing.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
And so there's the friends of you're familiar with Big Bear in California.
I am.
At Big Bear Lake, they've had this nest for a number of years, and they set up a camera up there. It's solar powered. No people have to go up and move the camera. It's always on this eagle's nest, and it's fascinating because you can watch 24/7. It's infrared. You can watch the eagles. And this week was a big week because Jackie had laid 3 eggs.
Okay.
Monday, one of them hatched.
Ooh.
That's eaglet number 1. Tuesday, eaglet number 2 came, and everybody was wondering because it's very unusual for all 3 eggs to hatch.
Oh.
And people were watching intently, nonstop on the Eagle Cam. And Saturday morning at 6:13 a.m., the 3rd eaglet was born.
Wow.
To much fanfare. It was on, I saw it on every national newscast I watched. I saw it on every local newscast I watched.
We're talking about it now?
We're talking about it now. I saw it. I watched some of it myself just because when I first heard of it, I was like, oh, this sounds fun. I like watching cameras like that.
You watch bears. You have like a bear cam up, don't you?
I watch, well, they're hibernating now, but very soon I will have the black bear or the brown bear camera from Katmai National Park in Alaska up.
So when it's big, because I would imagine when they're hibernating, if you could watch them sleep, but there's no camera right now.
No camera. Well, there's cameras, but all you see are the falls. And they're frozen.
So because bears are moving around during the day, so it's not like watching them in like captivity in the zoo.
No, this is focused on one iconic falls in this Katmai National Forest where they come, and that's where the salmon are swimming upstream, and as they jump, you've seen pictures, I'm sure.
Of course.
The salmon are jumping up over these falls, and the bears are snatching them out of the air.
Got it. All right.
That's
so
where
the
this
camera is set up to watch them eat fish, basically.
And they've got an underwater camera, so you see the salmon,
wow. Okay.
and they've got different angles of the camera. It's fascinating. I find it very calming. Like last year, watching the Falcons. Do you remember watching?
See,
it's not your thing? I've
never been like, oh, I got to check out. I've never been invested. I've never been emotionally invested in like an animal cam where I need to like check in on them.
I like to keep a small window open, and it's you look at it for a couple seconds, and it's very calming. Watching these eagles who have had some success. Last couple years, they had Mother Nature was not kind to them.
Oh.
So for this year, they lost eggs in the last 2 years.
So they had no survivors the last couple years?
Nothing.
No wonder people are so emotionally invested.
So now we got to see. And we have some places near the house where eagles actually nest. And so I've seen these.
Really?
Yeah. Down in the south suburbs.
Oh, wow.
And so I've seen them in the wild in these giant nests. And
where are they eating? Like, where are they hunting?
It's around like little lakes and wetlands and stuff.
Okay.
And eagles are gigantic.
Oh, they're huge.
And they're phenomenal to see in the wild. And this was, I didn't know this, just like humans. Shadow took his turn keeping the eaglets warm while Jackie went off to do whatever mom eagles do, go gather some food or get, a makeover, whatever she's up to. A little self-care. And interestingly enough, there was some drama because Jackie formerly was with another eagle.
Oh.
Yes. And then in 2018, Shadow arrived and he chased off this other male eagle and he took Jackie as his own.
Wow.
And now they have a huge family.
So eagles do not mate for life.
I don't know.
Penguins.
Not for life, but Jackie and Shadow been together for a while.
Lobsters, penguins, who else mates for life?
I don't know.
I know those two.
Those two do. Yeah, we got to turn Isaac. We got to turn Kristin on to some of these wildlife cams. There's a bunch of giraffe cams, baby giraffe cams.
Is there an elephant cam? I want an elephant cam.
I'm sure we can find one.
All right,
we'll find you.
Find me an elephant cam, and I'll be invested.
All right, we'll get Kristin an elephant cam, and while we do that, you listen to this on Spanning the State.
The Upswing with Jeff Sherman.
So Sidney Moncrief, Bucks legend, joins us in studio. How did your NBA career prepare you for the boardrooms that you're in each and every day?
It doesn't.
Wow, all right.
I wanted to take the concept of entrepreneurship and put it with a different lens, the lens of literacy. We need to understand these principles of literacy.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
If you've ever worried about your heart, if you've ever loved someone with heart disease, if you've ever wondered if you're the one at risk, let's remind ourselves that we are not powerless. Because at the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, we're pushing to outsmart heart and vascular disease by working with you personally to understand your history, assess your risks, and guide you to heart strength. By digging deep with tireless research and offering access to leading-edge clinical trials. And for the most serious conditions, including heart failure, heart valve disease, arrhythmias, and vascular diseases, we provide renowned expertise and the most advanced life-saving procedures you expect from academic medicine. So let's get out in front of heart disease. Let's outsmart it. Let's keep pushing so that every one of us can outrun it and embrace every beautiful day life in Wisconsin has to offer. To learn more about our nationally renowned heart and vascular care, visit froedtert.com/heart.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Comfort Awnings and Siding Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Things are getting even cheaper at Fleet Farm during Chick Days, March 6th through the 12th. We've got the most popular poultry breeds, all at the best prices guaranteed. Plus, get great deals on other chickening needs, too, like 20% off Little Giant feeders and waterers. 40 pounds of Nature-Wise protein crumble is on sale for $16.99. And Kamek and Tamarack boots for the coop are all 25% off. Eggers, Leghorns, Reds. Now's the best time to get them during Fleet Farm Chick Days.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
I believe it's time for me to fly.
All right, the suggestions are rolling in.
Yes.
On the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. Olive the hummingbird is
I
a
haven't
cam
heard
we
of
can
that
watch. It looks like there's a sturgeon cam on the Wolf River.
We Energy does all the falcon cams. They have like 4 or 5. And I did find you an elephant cam.
Okay, where?
It's at the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee. Elephants.com is the
That's
website.
very straightforward.
Solar-powered cameras to locate and monitor the elephants.
Okay.
Yeah, so you and Frankie can sit and watch elephants.
I think she's a horse girl so far.
That'll be nice.
Well,
most
or
little girls
expensive.
like horses.
I know.
Yeah, then you gotta. Oh, then
Like,
you gotta get
Daddy,
a horse.
buy me a pony.
Buy me a
But
pony.
yeah, they went to the zoo today. She's
Oh.
there was a statue of a horse that she was very excited about. Elephants are by far and away my favorite animals, so I'm trying to impress that upon her. But maybe she'll have to be an equestrian
Listen,
athlete.
Save up. You're going to need about 8 more jobs on top of your other 8 jobs. All right, let's do this. Wisconsin's Afternoon News comes your way next.
See ya.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee.